Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it. Nobody don't know about it. In fact, J Boogie, let them know what time it is.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now.
Salute, Knicks family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. Finally, the Knicks beat Brooklyn for the first time since 2020. I could not believe that. Now, they were without Kyrie and KD. I don't care. At this point, we need a win, and we was able to get it at Madison Square Garden, where we have not played well on the season. Brunson, 40 points. Josh Hart, 27 points. Hit the three. You know, one of the things I thought maybe with more volume, shooting more threes, you know, maybe his percentage would go up. Do I expect him to shoot? I think he shot like 70% for the game. Do I expect that? No, I don't. But if he's a capable three-point shooter, he's about league average for his career, 34, 35%. If he can do that for us, I'm super happy. Brunson, 40. Again, we'll talk about that. RJ Barrett did not play well, to say the least. We'll talk about that as well. So let's get into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now, those who are going to join the chat later, and of course, the replay crew, those who watch afterwards. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to leave comments as well. That helps to support the channel. Let me just shout out a few people. Ajay, Jeff Clafter, Tim Smith, Harlem Girl listening in the background, Pudge Nice, S. Brooklyn, Kiorion Jones. I don't know if I got that right, but I appreciate you. Kerry Cox, Flo Hypnotic, love that name. Big Kev, Jarrell, Parish Duggar, Edwin Pete. Appreciate all of you for joining us this morning. All right, let's just set it up really quick. Knicks came into this game 31-27, 4 games over 500, 5-5 over their last 10, having lost their last game. The usual starters with Mitch out, Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, Sims. Brooklyn, 10 games over 500. I think just 1-2 without, since the Kyrie trade. But anyway, they came in 5th in the Eastern Conference, 4-6 over their last 10. They had lost their last game coming into last night's game. They started Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges at the 2. Cameron Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nick Claxton, Seth Curry was out for them last night. I'm just going to get right into it. Usually I'll do like a micro view of the game and get into the first quarter and the second quarter and things of that sort. Today, I kind of want to we'll do a little bit of that, but I kind of want to do a macro view in terms of my takes on the game last night. I thought it was a good win for the Knicks. Like we said, our first win against Brooklyn since 2020, and I hope more to come. It was nick and tuck, for what? The first half, into the third quarter, and then the Knicks were able to pull away. Dinwiddie had, I believe it was 20 points in that first half and only 8 the rest of the way. They had a tough time scoring, and we'll get into the individual scorers. I think after him, the next player had 14 points. I thought the Knicks defense was on point, particularly in the fourth quarter. But Brunson, my goodness, can we put to rest the narrative that he has problems with taller, longer, stronger, more physical players? Can we put that to rest now? I seen him score with Embiid. This is the second game in which they put Mikal Bridges on him. The first game was in Phoenix, and he scored anyway. At this point, he's just a certified bucket getter. At some point, you have to cross over from, this is something you can do time to time, or he had a good game, to this is just who he is. Right? We saw it in the playoffs last year. And I get it. Is this something he can do game in and game out? He's doing it game in and game out. Now, does he have bad games? Absolutely. Absolutely, he has bad games. But Brunson, doesn't matter who you put on him, with his footwork, with his hesitation, with his handle, he's going to be able to get to his spots. And there's nothing nothing the other team could do about it. In my opinion, and I said this early, he is a budding star. I think he's 1, 2, maybe 3 years away from even being in his prime. So he is going to get even better than this, right? Now, do I want to see him in the playoffs? I do want to see him in the playoffs, but we saw him in Dallas, and it makes a difference who you're playing with. When you have players that are hitting shots around you, you can't key in on just one player, right? So let's see in the playoffs how he performs, but a lot of that is going to be on how the rest of the Knicks perform if he has the space that he needs to operate. But this guy is certified. That's just it. That's just it. That's just how I see it. People are talking about him being snubbed from the All-Star game. Listen, I want him to get the All-Star nod, just a stamp on the season he's having. But for me, I just think, forget the All-Star game. Is he a star, period? We might have a star on our hands, period. The All-Star game is about being voted in. It's about how you're playing that particular year, where the coach is at, where the fans at, all of that fickle type stuff. Being a star, it just is. That's not dependent on anybody else but how you perform night in and night out. And in my opinion, Brunson is on that path. It may take him a few years to get there, perhaps, but he's on that, he's on that path. So kudos to him. Josh Hart, 27 points on good efficiency, 4 3-pointers, shot 71.4% from the field. I read somebody said in the chat that, you can't expect to get the points, every game. And you can't, obviously. He's not going to average 20. He's not going to average 27 points for the rest of his time here with the Knicks, right? But to know that you're going to always get the intangibles, you're going to always get the defense, the rebounding, the playmaking, you're going to always get the little things, and he can hit a three, and he can score. Now, driving to the basket, we went over this when we talked about Josh Hart when he first got traded. He's shooting 70% prior to coming to the Knicks. I don't know where he is now. It might even be better. Shooting 70% at the rim, right? And we saw on his drives to the basket, I don't think he missed one. He probably only took like 2 or 3, whatever it was. He shoots 70% at the rim, right? He's somebody, because he's a very good rebounder, and we saw this last night, he can get the rebound, take it coast to coast, and again, he finishes well at the rim, right? So that's a nice piece, to add. It, in Portland, he shot 37% from 3, I believe it was. So listen, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Josh Hart. And in my opinion, I think he starts after the All-Star break. I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's going to get the minutes and he's going to close. This is the second game he's closing right off the bus or the train or the plane, however he got here, drove, whatever. He closed both games, right? So he's going to get his minutes and he's going to close, right? So it's not a big deal whether he starts or not. I just believe after the All-Star break, he's going to be in that starting unit. All right, so we talked about Brunson, who played very well. We talked about Josh Hart, who played very well. Before I get to the chat, let's talk about RJ Barrett, who didn't play. He played less than stellar, and I think I'm putting it nicely. He was a hot mess last night. He was just a hot mess last night. He had more personal fouls than points. Then he had 4 points, 1 rebound. He only took 8 shots last night. He was 2 for 8 in 25 minutes. Everybody's minutes was down. The game got out of hand in the fourth quarter, so everybody's minutes was down. Listen, I think it was a mistake for the Knicks not to go to restricted free agency with RJ Barrett. I think it was a mistake. Yes, they signed him for much less than the max. They signed him for 107, million dollars. And right now, the way he's playing, it looks like an overpay. Right now, at this second, right? I'm concerned that, he's still in the bottom percentile finishing at the rim, mid-range, and the three-point shot. For his position, he's still in the bottom percentile. So when we talk about improvement, you can improve by adding something else to your game, like maybe you weren't shooting the three off the dribble, so you add that to your game. But you can also improve by the things that you do well, doing those things better, just improving at the things that you do frequently, put it that way. And I'm not seeing that at RJ Barrett. There's a slight percentage points better in terms of finishing at the rim. All mid-range shots, he's finishing a little better. I think last season at the rim, he finished at 55%. This season, he's shooting 57% at the rim, but still 27% percentile. In the mid-range, last year, he shot 31%. He's shooting a little better in the mid-range at 36%. Still 32 percentile, 32nd percentile. And in his three-point shooting, last year he was shooting 35%, this year 33%. So I'm not seeing him getting better at the things. Forget adding. Just get better at the things that you do. Now, he is a little better at the free throw line this season. I think last season he was 71.4%. This season he's 74.8 or 75%, right? All of that being said, I believe RJ Barrett will rebound next season. I believe he will rebound. I've seen it. I've seen players have poor seasons. Randall had a poor season. And I've seen Randall rebound. I've seen Tyler Hero rebound. I've seen multiple players have bad seasons and the next season rebound. And I believe RJ Barrett will. And one of the reasons why is I just see how he plays through three quarters and how he responds in the fourth quarter. I see how he has a terrible game, and then the next game, he rebounds, right? So I think he's still trying to find his footing in terms of consistency, right? So I'm down on him this season. We got to call it as we see it. Right now, he's terrible. He's scoring 20 points a game because he's taking 569 shots a game. That's what it is. He's still, I think last season, he's averaging maybe 1 or 2 shots less than last season, if I'm not mistaken. So he's still getting the shots. Brunson being here is not impacting his usage. I think his usage is down maybe 2%, but I think his usage is at 25%. So he still has relatively high usage. He's still hitting, getting his shots every game. He's just not producing. That's it. He's having a bad season. We're beyond slow starts. We only got 20-something games left in the season. So we are beyond a slow start. However, I'm not panicking on RJ Barrett overall. I think he will rebound next season. I think he will be better next season. I think he will drop some of the weight because he was a pretty good defender his rookie season, right? He's just regressed since then, and it might be because he's putting on weight, right? Muscle, not fat, muscle. So, I think he'll be quicker next season. He'll get in the lab in the off season, and he will be better. But right now, my goodness. And we got to call it as we see it. It's not even about hating RJ. It's about being able to call it as you see it. He's not playing well. Now, let me know, fans, if you're down on RJ overall, or is he just having a bad season? I'm saying he's just having a bad season. But I am concerned. That he hasn't built off of the things that he does frequently. That is three-point shooting, his mid-range, not even mid-range. He doesn't take a lot of, mid-range shots, but finishing at the rim, just 2 percentage points better. 3-point shooting regress. So I'm a little concerned that I'm not seeing improvement in those areas. But overall, I'm not giving up on RJ Barrett. I still think he's going to have a very good NBA career. I still see him averaging. It depends. It depends. If his usage is up, I see him averaging 17 to 19 points a game. If his usage is down because of his inefficiency, he might be a 12 to 14 point player, right? He's averaging the 20 points because of the usage, because of the number of shots he gets up, right? If he's not getting those shots and he's still inefficient, we're talking 12 to 14 points. For me, what I would like to see RJ Barrett do is, continue to rebound, get better at playmaking, drop some weight or whatever you need to do, work on your footwork to get better defensively so you can be like a Swiss Army knife, so to speak. Because I don't think scoring at a high level, it's not looking good right now. Can it turn around and he becomes super efficient? It can. It can. Am I putting money on it? I'm not putting any of my money on it. I don't know if he'll ever be efficient, but I still think he can be a really, really good NBA player by taking better shots, getting better at 3-point shooting, using your strength to finish at the rim. We could talk about, he doesn't jump that high. There's a lot of players that don't jump that high and finish at the rim. You don't got to bang it down on a dunk to finish at the rim. But that's where I'm at RJ Barrett. He's not playing well this season, but I'm not giving up on him overall. I do think he will rebound. All right. Let me see what the chat is saying. All right. Casual Philosopher, appreciate you joining me this morning. RJ is not effective off ball. That's a good point. And is not good enough to take the ball out of Brunson and Randall's hands, especially in quarters 1 and 4 of the game. I mean, is he good on ball? He's not somebody that can create his own shot. I get nervous when I see RJ Barrett out there dribbling around, looking to take his guy off the dribble. So, I don't think he has the handle and the craftiness to kind of get to his spots. So when you talk about somebody playing on ball with the ball in their hands, I'm thinking shot creation. Let me know if you mean something different. I'm thinking shot creation when I see, somebody playing on ball. Off ball, I see somebody who's waiting for somebody to create for them. Yeah, that's yeah. Repping Old School, appreciate you for joining me. RJ is playing his contract. He gives us 20 a game. Expectations are high. He could be a Zion spending 2/3 of the season injured. Yeah. When you're talking about total points, you're absolutely right. He's at 19.8, 20 points a game. He plays every single night. I think he missed one or two games this season. So yeah. Johnny Davis, remember when Quickly struggled? All of a sudden, he's a rebounding machine and he the little dude on the court. Yes. And now I agree with you, Johnny Davis. I think RJ Barrett will rebound. I'm not down on him overall career-wise, but this season, I'm just not happy with RJ Barrett this season. I'm just not. Dwayne Dennis, appreciate you. That's crazy. These are excuses. He needs to get in the lab now before the playoff BBC starts. I don't know what BBC means. The team will need for him to get his head right. I know. I said that to Jarrell, I think on the Just Nick and It show. I'm like, yeah, he'll rebound next season. And Jarrell was like, next season? We need him to rebound next game. So I hear you. We need him to rebound quicker than that. Sometimes for some players, it's just hard for them to turn it around in season, and they need that off season to turn it around. We'll see. El Servi or Servi, hope I got that right. RJ will be on a vet minimum contract in 5 years. Wow. Not elite and nothing. I don't know if I don't know. Jeff Clafter, if he would pass more, his efficiency might go up. As the defense rotates, he might find himself open for the give back pass. Yeah, I agree. Ashley Ick1 with West Coast. RJ is just having a bad season. And although I didn't want to draft him, I see him improving and being above average NBA player. I agree. Nick Yak, how awful is Obi? Let's talk about that. Yeah, but Obi's playing limited minutes, 10 minutes. I think he's playing within the flow of the game. I don't think he's forcing things. He's making the right pass. Defensively, yeah, I think defensively, the last 2-3 games, first time in a long time I've seen people just driving straight to the basket on Obi Toppin. Kerry Cox thinks 18 to 22 points per game going forward for RJ Barrett. Corey Lee, I'm not down on RJ. Corey Lee, okay, you're not down on him, but do you acknowledge that he's not playing well this season? All right. We need him or going nowhere with 6'4" small forwards. That's an argument. Do you want height just to have height? Or do you want height people who can actually play? Because we got height in RJ Barrett on the defensive end. He's 6'7". What good is that doing us defensively? You know what I mean? So I agree with you. If we can get height and those guys can hit the three and they can play defense, fine. But I'll give up 2 inches for a dog. I'll give up 2 inches for somebody that's going to play defense. I'll give up 2 inches for somebody who's going to scrap and fight and elevate the rest of the team around them. And I'm talking particularly about Josh Hart. I'll give up those 2 inches for a player like Josh Hart. Ajay, will RJ be here next season? I've said as much. And I have said that I don't think he would be here next. I think I said I would be shocked. I will say that I would not be surprised if RJ is not here. But listen, I don't think they're calling around to get rid of RJ Barrett, right? I don't think they're going to give away RJ Barrett for role players and draft picks. But I think if somebody calls with a really good deal, RJ Barrett could go in that package. If we're trading for a star, I could see RJ Barrett going in that package, because you have to think about it. The salary does make a difference. You're paying him $107 million. And by NBA standards, I don't think that's a lot of money. But it's a lot of money for if he's your fourth option. It's a lot of money if he's averaging 13 points a game because he's not getting up 18 shots and he's still inefficient, right? So, if he's your third option, he's efficient, he's giving you 20 points, 6 rebounds, similar to what he's doing now, but he's playing consistent. No, $107 million is not a lot for that type of player. But for what we've seen this year, and keep in mind, his extension hasn't kicked in, right? This year, he's only making $10.8, $11 million. That's all he's making. The extension kicks in next season. And maybe next season, he raises his level of play. We're not even having this conversation. That's what happened with Randall. Last season, he wasn't playing under his extension. He was playing under his old contract. This is the first year of Randall's extension. And boy, are we getting our money's worth. Maybe the same thing happens with RJ Barrett. I'm just pointing out that right now, it's just not that good. Pudge Nice wants to trade him this summer before the extension kicks in. Soulfinger 12, West Coast. Salute, not saying RJ is Giannis, but the Bucks let him develop for 6 years. He's on this contract. He doesn't get better, and you can move him for something better. Peace to RJ. You can move him for something better in a package. In a package, not by himself. But I hear what you're saying. Keorian James thinks he plays bad every season. Keith Turner also says that this is not the first season. Nick Yak, RJ standing up, wasn't going to get pushed around. I love it. Yeah. He seemed somewhat frustrated. And I like, that he stood up for himself. We're seeing a little bit more emotion from RJ, at least last night. Nikki B from Harlem, how is RJ having a bad season when it's the same season he always has? I think people are just now noticing how RJ has always been. I do hear you. I just think this season, yeah, you're making a good point. Is it worse because our expectations were higher and that's why it's looking worse? I don't know. It just looks worse. The numbers, sorry about that. The numbers are similar, but it just looks worse. And the same thing with Randall. Randall last season, his numbers was kind of similar to his all NBA season, except for some inefficiencies. But just watching him every day, you knew. I don't care how close the stats looked, it wasn't close. And I think it's similar with RJ Barrett. Even though the stats look close, it's not close. Something is off with RJ Barrett, in my opinion. Joel Denman, I hope I got that right. If this is your first time, welcome. Hopefully you're subscribed to the channel. RJ needs to drop a few pounds in the offseason and adjust. He's trying to be what Tibbs needs him to be and not the player he could be. That's an interesting take. Ron, still Knick fans. RJ needs to get back to the basics. I totally agree. Start being there for your team. Rebound, assist, and help defense. Hustle plays matter. The offense will come back naturally. Plus, his teammates will respect him. Ron, I totally agree. I think there's more in RJ's game than scoring. And I don't know if it was the Just Nickinen show, if it was some here in one of the morning show chats when somebody says maybe he's equating being a good player to scoring. I'm averaging 20, so that means I'm a good player. I'm averaging 20, so that means I'm on par with some of the better players in the league. Maybe that's what he's doing, But expand your game. Don't be so point heavy. And listen, I'm not even saying he's forcing shots because I don't think he is. I don't think Barrett is out there forcing shots, putting up shots, just trying to score 20. I think he is playing within the flow of the game. He's taking good shots. The shots he's getting from three are good looks. When he drives to the basket, early in the season, you could say he was forcing it. When he's driving to the basket, to me, those are good drives. He's just missing. And sometimes missing badly. So again, he's taking good shots. They're just not falling. It's been like that much of the season. I just want to see Barrett expand the rest of his game because he has playmaking in his game. The rebounding, he has that in his game. Diving for loose balls, like that grittiness. I would like to see more of that from Barrett. A Swiss Army knife type of player. Tay 234, RJ's a third option. Third options aren't always consistent, so I'm not concerned. I disagree. I think third options are consistent at what they do. Right? Be consistent at your role. Whatever your role is, be consistent. Now, Grimes, I would say, a second-year player, I don't expect consistency. But you in your fourth year, yeah, I'm expecting some consistency, regardless of what your role is. So we shall see. Big Kev, appreciate you. In the meantime, do all the little things. I'm with you. Nick Yak, whole team is learning mid-range game from Brunson even quickly. RJ needs to pull up and still have contested at the rim. Yeah. Definitely smash the like button. We got 102 watching. You might not be near your computer. You might be listening in the car. I get it. But if you're near your computer, if you're on your phone, hit the like button. I appreciate it. All right. Let's just get back to the game real quick. I love this little lead tracker thing. It just gives you a sense of how the Knicks were playing. As you can see in the first quarter, up and down a little bit. Second quarter, more Knicks than Nets. Third quarter, Nets at the end of the second, beginning of the third. And then after that, it was mostly Knicks. The Knicks had the biggest lead, 25. The biggest lead the Nets had was 4. There was 13 lead changes. So there was a time in the game we was just going basket for basket, basket for basket, and the lead was changing. And the game was tied 8 times, right? So through 3 quarters, it was a really entertaining game until the Knicks came out. And I want to say hit the first 8 to 10 points in that fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, and pulled away. All right, game scorers, Brunson, 40 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 3-pointers, shot 71.4% from the field. Hart, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 3-pointers. Also shot 71.4% from the field. Randall, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block. Didn't have a great shooting night, but early on, I thought he shot really well. That mid-range was working. And I say it again, I'm loving, Randall is taking his shots from like 4 spots on the floor, basically. And I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. Quickly, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 50% from the field. The Knicks shot basically 55% from the field, 44% from 3, 73% from the free throw line. The top scorers for Brooklyn was Dinwiddie, 28 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Did not shoot well overall, 38.1% from the field. He had 20 of those 28 points in the first half. Cameron Johnson, 14 points, 4 rebounds, a steal, shot 50% from the field. Nick Claxton, 11 points, 6 rebounds, a block, 50% from the field. Finney Smith, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 3-pointers, 60% from the field. They shot 45% from the field, 41.4% from the 3-point line, and 72.7% from the free throw line. Coming into this game, we were looking at their bench. Their bench is stronger. They got a really, nice young team. We might be top heavy, but 1 through 12, they might be better. This is why we play the games. Because it's not about what you've done up until that point, and it's not about how a particular player has played up until that point. It's about this particular game. And the Knicks did it better for longer. And that's just the bottom line. Mikal Bridges didn't even score in double figures. I think there was some motivation last game playing against Philly, right? That's his hometown team. I don't know if his mom still works there. They drafted him, traded him to Phoenix. So it might have been a little extra juice. That was his first game in Brooklyn. A little extra juice last game. This game, nada. Basically. Love the way the Knicks played. Let me just see if there's anybody else I want to talk about. We talked about RJ Barrett. Quentin Grimes, 8 points, 3 rebounds. He only played 23 minutes a game. Anybody concerned about Grimes, even though he's starting, his minutes are dropping. And I think last game he played like 22 minutes. I'm okay with it. I just think this is his second year. He's played about 90 games. Remember, there was some injury. He was injured, some of last season. He's played like 90 games, up to this point in his NBA career. I'm okay with it. And I think overall, Grimes is going to be really, really good. I think he's going to get in the lab this summer as well, work on that 3-point shooting because we need him to be more consistent. He gets a lot of open shots off of those guys. This is why I feel like the Knicks need a reliable 3-point shooter. Think about the open shots Grimes gets. If we had a reliable shooter, at that position, maybe we win a few more games. Maybe we need, because I'm talking about timely shooting, not just how many you score at the end of the game. I'm talking about when we need a basket. Timely shot making. We need some of that. Emmanuel quickly. I'm loving how Emmanuel quickly is playing. He's playing within the flow of the game. He's taking good shots. His decision making is good. He may over dribble on 1 or 2 possessions, but for the most part, I'm loving him. Hart, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 for 3 from the field. Went to the line twice, made both of them, played 24 minutes. Love the way Hart is playing also. And, that could be a reason to not start Josh Hart, to keep that second unit together because they've been, playing well. Obi Toppin, almost 16 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block. Took 2 3-pointers, didn't hit him last night, but I thought he took them within the flow of the game. I didn't think he forced it. Miles McBride is out of the rotation, but again, the game was out of hand. So that's why, he played 4 minutes, even Fournier played 2 minutes. Jalen Brunson played the most, almost 36 minutes. All right, let me check in with the chat. Still, Knicks fans, I'm not concerned about Grimes' minutes. I think the Knicks fan base and Tibbs should not make the mistake of inserting Hart in the starting lineup. We need Josh Hart on the second unit. I hear you, Ron. I don't even know how much it matters because he's gonna get his minutes. He's gonna close the game. Are you upset with a Grimes in that second unit? Just say Josh Hart does start. Are you upset with a Quickly at the 1, Grimes at the 2, Barrett at the 3, Obi at the 4, Hart at the 5? Yeah, I don't know if I'm too upset with that, but I hear you. I'm not upset if he stays in the second unit either. I think he's just one of those connector type players. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. He's going to close the games. And I noticed in that second unit, maybe because RJ wasn't playing well, RJ wasn't running with that second unit last night. But again, it could have been because he just wasn't playing well. Pudge Nice, Grimes got 2 more years. He's getting there. Yeah. Let's look back to RJ Barrett in his second season, Quickly in his second season, Mitch in his second season. I think it's okay in your second season to be inconsistent. Jarrell, #start Hart. Jay Supreme, leave him coming off the bench. The bench needs his scoring and overall play. Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm okay with it. Either way. Paris Duggar, look, I keep saying Barrett, Obi, Grimes all need a developmental coach this season to help them get to their best selves. Listen, they all have developmental coaches. All of these players have developmental teams that work with them in the offseason. I know you don't expect Tibbs to be out there, running drills with these guys individually. The head coach doesn't do that on any team. But they all have their developmental coaches, teams in the offseason. Yeah, Grimes getting benched soon. Y'all have to stop defending these players. These are grown men. They don't need fans defending them. Keith Turner, appreciate you. The coolest 718. I believe RJ was included in a trade that fell through and didn't happen, and he knows it. Got his confidence down now. You know what? You might be right. They tried to trade him, over the summer, in the early reports anyway, the early reports in the Donovan Mitchell trade. There was talk about Levine. I don't know if there was any reports about who could possibly be included in that trade. Maybe you're right. All right. Stafford Don, 10 likes and 96 people. Smash that like button. Definitely. RJ went to Duke, and I haven't seen him slap the floor in defense yet. He better get it together. Yeah. All right. Team stats. Points in the paint still plus 10 for the Knicks. Second chance points, 0.8 for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, we're 5 games over 500, and Mitch has missed a considerable amount of time. And this is what I'm saying. I really think the Knicks are a good team. We have to become more consistent. But no matter who goes down, they find a way to continue winning. We're going to be that much better. Hopefully Mitch returns, over, after the All-Star break. And we'll get back to dominating second chance points. Bench points. We have 52 bench points. Josh Hart had 27 of them. Now, I don't expect him to score even 15 points a game. I'm not expecting that. Am I happy if he does? Absolutely. But I'm not expecting that. Right now, the Knicks are 7th in the Eastern Conference. Miami lost last night, as well as Atlanta, as well as Brooklyn. So the Knicks are just a half game out of the 6th spot, and they have a 2.5 game lead over the Atlanta Hawks. Now, we play Atlanta Wednesday. If Atlanta wins that game, that'll be a full game that they will catch up on the Knicks, and it will just be a game and a half behind. So let's talk about Atlanta. Right now, Knicks are 32-27, 7th in the Eastern Conference, 6-4 over their last 10, having won their last 2 games. Atlanta is 29-29, 8th in the Eastern Conference, again, 2.5 games behind the Knicks, 5-5 over their last 10. They lost their last game. I want to say it was to Charlotte, right? Offensively, over their last 10 games, they're 2nd in offensive rating, scoring 120 points per 100 possessions, right? Their defense, they're 22nd, right? Over their last 10. The Knicks are 5th in offensive rating. So these are over the last 10 games at least, 2 really good offensive teams squaring off tomorrow. The Knicks are 5th in offensive rating, scoring 119.1 points per 100 possessions, right? And defensively, over the last 10, the Knicks are 19th, right? So these are not 2 defensive juggernauts, at least over the last 10 games. We've played them 3 times. We've won once. They've won twice. We will be playing in Atlanta. How are you guys feeling about this game? I think we've been playing well. I say we get it, but look at this starting lineup. This is who they started last game. So this is the projected starting lineup. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Saddiq Bey. Remember, Saddiq Bey was traded from Detroit. Indirectly, it was a 3 or 4 team, a multi-team trade. But Saddiq previously in Detroit, now playing for Atlanta, and he started the last game. DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, right? Now, Saddiq Bey's defense hasn't been great this season, but historically, he's a pretty good defensive player. I anticipate Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, Sims. On paper, you could say that they got a better defensive team on paper outside of Trae Young, right? But over their last 10, they're 22nd, right? So they got really good individual defenders. DeJounte Murray, who will probably be on Brunson. DeAndre Hunter, who would probably be on Randall. RJ Barrett at this point is on self-check. Like, you don't really need to put your best defender on RJ Barrett at this point. So DeAndre Hunter will probably be on Randall. And as long as DeAndre Hunter is, I don't think he's any match for Randall, the way Randall has been playing. Sims and Clint Capella, Clint Capella is the cagey veteran. Sims, though he's gotten better, can still make, young player mistakes, but we do have Hart as well, and they got a Kongwu as well. So that center matchup, those 2 guys against our 2 guys, that's going to be pretty good. DeAndre Hunter and Randall, pretty good. And DeJounte Murray on Brunson. He definitely made it hard for Brunson last game. That being said, I'm putting my money on Brunson. I like DeJounte Murray, though. All right. Thursday, I'll be back for the morning recap show. That's the last recap show going into the All-Star break. The next time we play after Atlanta will be the following Friday in Washington, D.C. against the Wizards. I will actually be at that game. MBK is doing an event in Washington, D.C. at Guy Fieri's restaurant. Some will be going to the game. I will be heading up a watch party. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, come down. That part is free. We're doing a live pregame show, a live postgame show, watch party in between. But if you want tickets, I'll put the link in the description. You can buy tickets to the game and you can actually go watch it. But this Thursday morning, I'll be back for the morning recap show. Thursday night, I'll be back for the Just Nick and It show. And then next week, Monday, Queen's Court. All right, let me just shout some people out on my way out the door. Hit the notification button if you have, the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel. Jeff Clafter, I appreciate you. Thanks again for the best post-game analysis anywhere. I appreciate that. All right. Ajay, appreciate you. Pudge Nice, Nick Yak, Paris Duggar, I appreciate you as well. Kiorian Jones, I appreciate you. Mike Boy, Pudge Nice, Dwayne Dennis, Juan from Still Nick Fans, James, I must be getting an Amazon delivery or something. James Glass, I appreciate you. Ashley Eve1, Soulfinger 12, J Supreme, Stafford Don, I appreciate you always. I think I got everybody. Harlem Girl listening in the back, Keith Turner, repping Old School, Kerry Cox, Roy Rosado, Tay 234. Hopefully I got everybody. Listen, if I missed anybody, y'all know my condition. Tim Smith. Oh, always Tim. Appreciate you. I think I got Andrew K. Appreciate you. Yep. I think I got everybody. S. Brooklyn. Salute. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe out there. Until next time.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. That like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't stop.
Where you at?